rise of the Antichrist. The tribulation of the Dajjal, Antichrist, is the greatest trial before the day of judgment, and his appearance on earth is one of the 10 major signs of the end times. The Dajjal will emerge under a system that will have been fully prepared before his arrival, ensuring that when he appears, everything is set in place and he will face no difficulties. Today, we can observe how modern science has advanced to the point where it is capable of achieving things that were once considered the domain of divine power. According to experts, through the use of technology, the Dajjal will perform such miracles that those with weak faith will accept him as a god and follow him. He will make it appear as though he holds both paradise in one hand and hellfire in the other. But this will merely be an illusion. As the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "When we witness such a time, we should not fear, and should even leap into what appears to be his hellfire, because that is the true paradise." Similarly, what the Dajjal presents as paradise will, in fact, be the true hellfire. Friends, the Dajjal is a tribulation so severe that every prophet of Allah warned their people about him. There will be no greater trial on earth before the day of judgment. That is why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, clearly outlined all the signs of the Dajjal so that the Muslim community could recognize him and prepare to confront him. Since Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet of Allah, there will be no one after him to warn us about the Dajjal. Friends, we know from descriptions that the Dajjal will be blind in one eye, have curly hair, and the word kafir, disbeliever, will be written on his forehead. He will be of Jewish descent. But the important question now is the Dajjal already present in the world today? If so, where is he? This is a crucial question because the Dajjal was also seen during the time of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and one of the companions had an encounter with him. That companion was Hazrat Tamim Dari. This event is mentioned in a long hadith recorded in Sahih Muslim, the summary of which is that one of our Prophet's companions, Hazrat Tamim Dari, who was previously Christian, came to accept Islam in the presence of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. After embracing Islam, he narrated an incident that had occurred during one of his sea voyages. One day, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, called all his companions to the mosque after prayer and told them, "I am not gathering you today to deliver a message from Allah, but to share with you what Tamim Dari has told me after accepting Islam." Hazrat Tamim Dari recounted that once, while he was on a sea voyage with 30 other men, their ship was caught in a severe storm. The weather became so bad that their ship was tossed around the sea for a month, and they had no idea where they were. Finally, they ended up on a strange island. There, they encountered an unusual creature whose body was completely covered in hair. This creature could speak like a human, and when they saw it, they were frightened. They asked it, "Who are you?" And it replied, "My name is Jassasa." We asked the creature, "What are you?" It replied, "Forget about me, let me take you to my master." It then pointed to a nearby temple, saying, "He is inside." Hazrat Tamim Dari continued, saying that they followed the creature to the temple, where they found a man of immense size, bound with chains. His hands were tied to his neck, and his legs were shackled. As soon as the man saw them, he began asking questions. The first question was, "Tell me about the palm trees of Baysan. Do they still bear fruit?" We replied, "Yes, they do." He said, "Very soon they will no longer bear fruit." Next he asked, "Tell me about the Lake of Tiberias, Sea of Galilee. Is there still water in it?" We replied, "Yes, there is plenty of water." He said, "Soon it will dry up." Then he asked about the spring of Zugar, and later about the hills of Golan. Finally he asked, "Tell me about the unlettered prophet. What has he done so far?" We replied, "He has left Makkah and migrated to Medina, where he has settled." Upon hearing this, the man was astonished and said, "Has this really happened?" We said, "Yes, it has." The man then revealed, "I am the Dajjal, Antichrist. Very soon, when these signs that I have asked you about are fulfilled, I will be released from these chains and will travel across the world, except for Mecca and Medina." After this, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "O people, this is Yathrib, Medina. Didn't I tell you that the Dajjal is not in the sea of Sham or Yemen, but rather in the east?" He then pointed towards the east with his hand 3 times and said, "The Dajjal is in the east." Friends, this hadith clearly shows that wherever the Dajjal was at that time, it was a place to the east of Medina. Now let's turn our attention toward the islands to the east of Medina and attempt to identify their location. Adjacent to Medina lies the Arabian Sea, which Hazrat Tamim Dari also crossed during his sea voyage. In this sea, there are 4 significant islands to the east: India's Lakshadweep Island, Masira Island in Oman, Socotra Island in Yemen, and Astola Island in Pakistan. The hadith clearly states that the Dajjal is neither in Yemen nor Sham, Syria, leaving us with 2 islands, India's Lakshadweep Island and Pakistan's Astola Island. Now, how do we determine which of these islands might be where the Dajjal resides? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, pointed towards the east. If we draw a straight line from Medina towards the east, you will be surprised to find that it leads directly to Pakistan's Astola Island, because India's Lakshadweep Island is too far from this line, as can be seen on the map. Additionally, the hadith mentions a temple on that island. To eliminate our doubts, we need to search for a temple that could exist on one of these 2 islands. However, India's Lakshadweep Island does not have such a temple. In contrast, Astola Island in Pakistan is home to a temple known as the Kali Mata Temple, which, according to Hindu beliefs, is dedicated to a fearsome goddess. This temple is also over 2,000 years old, meaning it predates the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by about 600 years. Now, the question to ponder is whether all of this is just a coincidence, or if this is truly the place where Hazrat Tamim Dari encountered Jassasa and the Dajjal. The signs that the Dajjal asked about, such as the gardens of Baysan, Lake Tiberias, Sea of Galilee, and the Golan Heights, all seem to have been fulfilled. It's possible that the Dajjal may have already been released from there, but he has yet to reveal himself to the world. Let's now discuss how all these signs have come to pass. First, consider the gardens of Baysan. Historically, Baysan was part of Palestine, but is now under Israeli control. Baysan was famous for its palm date gardens, and part of the region is now with Jordan. However, all the date gardens in that area have been destroyed, exactly as the Dajjal had asked. The second sign was about Lake Tiberias, Sea of Galilee. The Dajjal asked if it had dried up, and today this lake is also within Israeli territory and under the control of the Jews. Near this lake is one of Israel's major cities. The lake stretches 23 kilometers from north to south and is Israel's largest source of fresh water, which comes from the Jordanian Golan Heights. Recent reports indicate that the lake has reached its lowest level in over 100 years and is slowly drying up, just as the Dajjal predicted. The next sign he asked about was the spring of Zugar, which is also now under Jewish control. The Dajjal's next question was about the Golan Heights, which were seized by Israel from Syria during the war in 1967. The highest peak in the Golan Heights is Mount Hermon, Jabal al-Sheikh, from where, on one side, one can see Jerusalem, Beit al-Muqaddas, and on the other side, Damascus. The mountain stands at an elevation of 9,232 feet and is shared by 3 countries, Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. The Sea of Galilee, Lake Tiberias, and the spring of Zugar are nearby, as well as the region of Baysan. Now, if we consider the questions related to the Dajjal, they all connect to the Golan Heights. In March 2017, America officially handed over the Golan Heights to Israel, which clearly shows why the Dajjal raised these questions and the purpose behind them. If we connect all these matters, we know how important high ground is in warfare. The army that occupies a high position can easily win battles, especially in a scenario where a great war is imminent, as referenced in Hadith known as Armageddon and Al-Hamatul Uzma. After this, the Dajjal will appear in this world, and Israel has already occupied these heights, starting preparations for the battle, waiting for the Dajjal to reveal himself and claim divinity, fighting against Muslims while establishing Jewish dominance. Friends, we need to gauge how close we are to the end times. When will the day of judgment come? Only Allah knows. However, observing these signs, we can only speculate. The fitna, trial, of the Dajjal will be so severe that our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sought refuge from it, providing us with a solution. Anyone who recites Surah Kahf on Fridays will be protected from this fitna. I hope today's video has provided you with new insights. Please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't forget to do so. I'll see you in the next interesting video. Goodbye.